July is going to completely change your love life. This month is the month where your ex texts back. This is the month that you're going to break up that situationship and move on. This is the month that you're accidentally going to have that bump into each other, meet cute on the street. July is the month that you are possibly going to meet your soulmate. At least that's what TikTok says. It's called July theory. And today I'm diving into this magical power that the summer seems to hold, what's actually happening, and why I think the summer accidentally solves the biggest problem we have in modern dating. This is the realistic romantic, and you just walked in on your date with Drew. I'm your golden retriever boyfriend, helping you navigate modern dating without losing yourself in the process. And today we're talking about one of the biggest dating trends or maybe conspiracy theories that is taking over TikTok right now. It's called July theory. And honestly, I don't think July theory completely has it wrong. I think there is a lot to be said about this like magical quality of the summer opening up opportunities. But what I think is happening is not that the month of July is magical and powerful on its own. I think we're finally reaching that midpoint of the summer where our behavior is changing. And when your behavior changes, your opportunities change, and you might be opening up more possibilities in your love life. So let's learn more about July theory in today's relationship status update. So for today's update, love theories are taking over your TikTok feed. And right now, July theory is the biggest love theory that's trending. Last month, there was June theory. And so apparently, June theory is that June is this like little trailer teaser for like what the summer holds. And so basically, all of what you experienced in June was just leading up to July. And July theory is saying that this is the pivot point of the year. This is the middle of the year. This is peak summer. Your love life is going to change. New opportunities going to attract to you. And you might be surprised what happens by the end of the month. What are some of the common themes of the year's biggest romantic turning point? Some of the things people are saying that you can expect are your ex is returning, your situationships gaining clarity, new relationships popping up out of the blue, meeting people that you didn't expect to meet, and just kind of being more open to this idea of serendipity and this idea that anything can happen, which kind of welcomes in romance and love into your life pretty naturally when you change that mindset. First of all, there's more sunshine, and more sunshine means that you're happier, which means you're more open, and then you're also spending more time out of your home, outside because of the longer daylight hours. People also have like a lot more events to go to. People are going to pool parties, barbecues, summer weddings, and that kind of just increases your odds of meeting someone naturally and organically. And then people are also kind of using the midpoint of summer as kind of a mid year check in. So anyone who was kind of planning their January goals is kind of looking now to assess if they've made it happen. And if they haven't hit their romantic goals, now is the time that they're going to ramp it up. And finally, some of our planners out there are already thinking ahead to the fall and cuffing season, and they want to lock someone down this summer to have someone to make it through winter. And June, July, summer theory are not the only romantic theories about love out there. The love conspiracy theories go much deeper. Another one that I found out there is orange peel theory, where if you give your partner an orange and ask them to peel it, if they peel it for you, they're a keeper. If they say you can do this yourself, maybe not. I think there's a lot more to unpack there. There's also the olive theory on How I Met Your Mother,
The olive theory.
The olive theory is based on my friends Marshall and Lily. He hates olives, she loves them. And in a weird way, that's what makes them such a great couple.
where to have a successful relationship, one person has to like olives and the other person has to hate them so that when you order a martini, someone always has a snack and you're not fighting over the olives. And I think these little theories are like cute ways to try to explain what's happening, but I don't think compatibility and romantic attraction completely hinge on them. I think rather than the theory dictating how we fall in love, I think how we fall in love is informing the theories. And so, really, these theories aren't going viral because they are scientifically true. They're going viral because they really tap into a feeling that we all have as we're like navigating and experiencing dating. So, this is the realistic romantic, and adhering to something like the July theory sounds a little bit woo woo. And so, you might be wondering, where is this episode going? Well, today's episode, I'm not asking, is July theory real? I think the question is better, why does it seem to apply to so many people during the summer? And what is happening behind the scenes? And really, I don't think July theory is explaining something that's destined to happen. I think July theory is explaining a behavioral change. And I think it's a behavioral change that we could apply to every month of the year. So let's get into today's date and try to explain some of this. So, item number one, why does July theory feel so true and resonate with so many people online? I think when we're looking online, it's really easy to kind of chalk up some of these theories to like little conspiracy theories or little fun trends or clickbait. But I think something like the July theory is really tapping into a larger phenomena. The concept of summer love is so strong for a reason. People are falling in love during the summer. However, I don't think July theory really explains why this is happening and why it couldn't just happen all year long. I think it just kind of gives a reason that this happens because it's summer. But it's deeper than that, which brings us to item number two. We fall in love during the summer because of the summer de-optimization effect. And the summer de-optimization effect is a term that I'm coining right here, right now. So, for the majority of the year, we are focused on optimizing our lives. We're waking up, we're going to the gym, we're heading to work, we're coming home, we're ordering DoorDash or groceries from our phone. We're clocking into some Netflix, and then we're going to bed and we're repeating the cycle. And when you're living in this like hyper optimized life, sure, you might be on dating apps and you might be swiping, but you're not really making room for anything unexpected to enter your life. You have open time in your calendar, and if you're willing to block it off and fill it, something will come in. But more often than not, we don't want to fill it because we've already optimized the week and we have decided that there's no room for anything else. However, that all changes once we hit summer. During summer, first of all, our moods change because we have ample sunlight, the days are longer, and we feel like we have more time to do things. Plus, we're taking vacation and we want to get outside and enjoy the weather. So, we're entering this environment where new things are happening that are outside of our normal optimized schedules. We're going to pool parties. We're doing beach weekends. We're attending summer weddings. We're going for walks after dinner. We're spending more time outside. We're having patio drinks or rooftop drinks, and we're kind of just out in the world. And when you're kind of out in the world and you don't have every minute of the day scheduled, you invite a lot more opportunity for spontaneity and chance encounters, AKA a meet cute that could start your summer romance. And so, really, summer invites us to break our optimized schedule. And when we break that, we finally allow any sort of romance to live because romance can't live in a calendar invite and it can't live in optimization. Romance sparks because you have tension, and that tension comes from spontaneity and chance and going against your normal everyday plan. So I don't think July, the month on its own, creates a more romantic atmosphere. But I think where it falls in this like middle of summer, this prime peak, breaks our optimization cycle and like allows us to finally bring romance into our lives and meet people outside of our normal daily routines. And when you bring chance and fun together, you have a prime recipe for a romantic summer spark. And so, really, a lot can happen when we break out of our optimization traps. A lot can happen when we go off schedule and we try something new, or we go on vacation, or we talk to a stranger. And while this happens a lot more naturally during the summer, I think it is something that we could bring into our daily lives. And it's actually the guiding principle of the app that I've been designing. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm building out the Realistic Romantic app. And it's a dating app, but it's not like any dating app you've ever experienced before because you're not going on there to meet people or match with people or swipe. You're going on there to learn how to date better, and it's actually fun because one of the ways to date better is to break your routine romanticize your own life and go enjoy moments of living. It's like taking a class, it's taking a walk, it's like choosing to leave the house rather than watch Netflix. And this app helps you every day, and I'm really excited. And that's coming out on July 28th. And so if you want to be on the wait list and get early access pricing, you can sign up at the link below in the show notes. I love the concept behind this app because I am a firm believer that when you stop optimizing your life, you're actually inviting more opportunities for serendipity and for romance. Which brings us to point three: summer creates opportunities. So, if you watch any rom com, I would say the majority of them are actually set during the summer or have like a significant chunk of them taking place during the summer. There's something that we're really attracted to about this like kind of magical summer fling because it has this feeling that anything could happen. Like you can meet someone on vacation, you can like meet someone getting ice cream, you can meet someone at the beach. Like, it's cute. It's a meet cute. And so why are so many rom-coms like Grease and Mamma Mia and The Notebook and Dirty Dancing, why are these set during the summer?
July 17th. What a night.
Well, it's because summer disrupts our routine. And so we've kind of noticed that when our routine is disrupted and unoptimized, romance naturally follows. And I know we kind of talked about already how summer kind of just like brings more opportunities for us to meet people, whether we're like on a summer cruise or at a neighborhood block party or anything like that. But I think summer also kind of holds this piece of nostalgia where we kind of go back to like this little childhood sense of play. And I think that sense of play is like massively underrated because when we're playing and having fun and like taking in every little moment, looking at the shapes of the clouds, we're like naturally kind of adding this romantic element into our life, which naturally attracts romance to us and naturally brings more opportunities. And honestly, I think it's a lot more fun to meet someone on the beach and start up a game of volleyball than it is to sit in your home in the dark and swipe on someone and send the classic, "How are you?" or "What's up?" message. But summer just doesn't change how we spend our time. And it's not just about fun. Summer, for many people, changes how we are thinking and how we are planning the last 6 months of the year. Which brings us to point four. For many people, summer is a mid year audit. And the month of July creates a natural point of reflection, which kind of plays into this July theory idea. So, if January is about ambition and planning, July is really our check in and our regrouping. So, a lot of people are kind of reflecting on their New Year's goals, and maybe their New Year's goals were to date someone or get into a relationship. And by July, if they're not in that, it's time to be honest and it's time to reflect. And a lot of people are ready to change their approach. It's kind of like the second fresh start of the year. So a lot of people in July are asking, am I happy? Am I happy with my dating life? Am I dating the right people? Should I reach back out to my ex? Should I end the situationship? Should I talk to my barista that I see every day that I think is cute? When people are asking these questions, it's kind of naturally creating this opportunity where people are going to make the decision, hey, I'm going to make an effort to go out there and date and meet someone. Or they're thinking, I'm in a relationship. It's time to lock it down and make it more serious, which is why so much romance and so many relationship up levels are happening in July and why July theory tends to work out. However, there is the strong possibility that your ex is going to reach out to you in July, which brings us to point number five. Why do your exes return in July? And your ex isn't necessarily coming back because they've changed. It's more likely that they've just come back because the season has changed. So let's dive in. While for some, July theory says that you're going to meet someone new, for others, July theory says that an ex or romantic fling from the past is going to come back to haunt you. And I think this happens for a couple of reasons. I think it does happen because of this like mid-year checkpoint that where a lot of us enter into and a lot of people are thinking about who they've dated, what relationships have happened since the start of the year, and they might reflect and like want to reach back out and revisit something. However, I think there's this also really strong sense of nostalgia that happens around summertime. We're doing things that we did from like our childhood, whether we're like having a little like push pop, or we're going to like a water park, or, we are going for a walk and the sprinkler hits us and we're just kind of taken back to these little nostalgic moments, which could bring us back to childhood, but could also bring us back to our ex from 6 months ago. And then on top of that, summer is also a big romantic month where people are getting married. People are doing romantic vacations and posting about it. People are doing engagements and proposals. And so I think all of these things are kind of combining to make us want a relationship. But I think the important question here is when you're reaching out to someone from a past fling, like, do you want them or do you just want a relationship? And if you're getting that text, I think you also need to ask that too. Does this person really want me, or do they want the idea of me, or do they just want the appearances of a relationship for the summer? So, in summary, nostalgia is not compatibility. And if you are one of those people who, instead of July bringing you a meet cute, July brings you your ex, take some time to really consider that and whether that's something that you want to revisit for the right reasons. And so, kind of closing this out, I don't think July theory is wrong, and I don't think July theory is BS. I think there is a lot of reality to this idea that the summer brings romance and the summer brings the possibility of meeting someone new, defining the relationship that you have, or your ex returning for round two. However, I don't think the turn of the calendar is changing destiny. I really think what's happening here is that July is peak summer and summer changes our behavior. And when we change our behavior, new opportunities come into play. So I think instead of trying to manifest the summer and like make the dream happen, my advice for you is really just to participate in summer and participate in fun and go outside of your normal routine. I think the actual magic of July theory comes from us participating in summer and doing the things that like we enjoy. And when we're kind of doing these things to romanticize our life, romance does come. When we romanticize our lives, we naturally attract romance into it. And so the first place to start if you want to get into a relationship this summer is revisiting a relationship with yourself and learning to have fun again. And you will be surprised how much opportunity fun brings you. So take this as your sign to make July theory happen for you. Take the vacation, go on the beach, take the walk around the park and get an ice cream cone out for yourself after dinner. Accept the invitation to the wedding. Do all of these things and have the best summer of your life and see what happens, because you might come out of it with a lot of fun memories, or you might come out of it with a new relationship, because love doesn't live in optimization. Love lives in lived experience. And we have a question from you realistic romantics out there. So it's time for a segment of Dear Drew. Dear Drew, I really hate the dating apps. However, I feel terrified to approach someone in real life. It seems like a lot of people out there don't want to be approached because they're either looking at their phone, wearing headphones, etc. I also really want to be approached, but I don't know how to make that happen. Do you have any advice? Okay, I think this is a problem that happens a lot in like modern dating. I think we've all become kind of like accustomed to like waiting for an invitation or waiting for a cue, while simultaneously we're also kind of waiting for people to make the first move. When it comes to approaching people in real life and gaining that practice, I think you want to start not walking up to like, the person that you've had a crush on for like 5 years that you've like admired from a distance at your coffee shop every single day, but start smaller with like low stakes. And so this could be like striking up a conversation, with like the Trader Joe's cashier. This could be striking up a conversation with like your barista. These things don't necessarily have to be flirting and they don't have to go anywhere. You're just practicing making the initiation and starting a conversation with a stranger. And once you get more comfortable with that, it'll be easier to approach someone that you actually like and have a crush on, or someone that you just find attractive. So that's where I would begin. I would start kind of like initiating very small interactions where you can kind of like start increasing your approachability. And then for looking and being more approachable and kind of attracting that, that's something that I would work on really kind of consciously like feeling and again practicing in like low stakes situations. So this could really be like as simple as kind of like shifting your body language. So like instead of being the person with like headphones on your phone, kind of like being more open, kind of like taking in like the environment that you're in and the people around you. And like even working on kind of like making eye contact with a stranger, not in like a creepy way, but just like making eye contact, doing a little smile, just like making yourself known in the room in very small ways. So I hope that helps. Those are two places to start. Also, this is one of the foundational elements of the Realistic Romantic app that I'm developing, where every day it gives you an attraction exercise. So you can kind of go out and practice this in the real world and then have a coach there in your pocket to kind of talk you through it when you get tripped up. And so that concludes today's episode of the Realistic Romantic. If you have a situationship story, a dating dilemma, or a question, send it in to Dear Drew. You can email me at heyrealisticromantic@gmail.com. That's HEY, realisticromantic@gmail.com. Or you can DM me on any of the platforms. So please make sure to follow me on Substack, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and you can DM me there. And finally, please make sure to like, subscribe, and rate the podcast or drop a comment below. All of these things really help me out as I'm growing this channel. And finally, if you want to be on the Realistic Romantic First Access waitlist when it drops, there's a link below so you can sign up for that. You'll get introductory pricing. You'll be one of the first people to access it, and you'll have that intro pricing for life. Until next time, date without delusion.